China is forcing Muslims to eat pork and drink alcohol for Lunar New Year's festival. During China's New Year holiday, Chinese authorities have reportedly forced Muslims in the Xinjiang region to eat pork and drink alcohol amid an alleged crackdown on Islam. People living in the Ili Kazakh autonomous prefecture were invited to events making the celebration and told that they could be taken to re-education camps if they refused. A report claimed that the officials have delivered pork directly to Muslim households and insisted that traditional Chinese New Year decorations are displayed outside. Holy crap.
Okay, I don't really understand this. Like, I know China is pretty, even though they're a fucking tyranny apparently, they do things efficiently. Like, who are these experts? Do they think like Muslims are going to be like, okay, I had pork, now I guess I'm not Muslim anymore? Like, what do you think is going to come out of this? Like, is this not how you actually make extremists out of moderates? Is this not a recipe for actually turning people into radicals? Like, when has oppressing a religious group of people has been successfully got rid of the religion? Has it not always been the opposite? Hasn't oppression actually fueled religion? Doesn't religion feed on religion? Isn't that how they grow? I mean, even if you are not humane enough to understand that this is fucking stupid and you don't force people to eat anything, even if you're trying to come up with the results that you want, how do they not know? I mean, they do research, they have studies. Like, they're not idiots up there. They must know that this does not work. I mean, this could be conspiracy. Okay, tell me, Jim, if I'm being an idiot here, because this sounds like a conspiracy theory to me, but I can't help but think this. Do you think that they actually don't mind having Muslim extremists so that they could actually use it to justify more crackdown on this community? Because somebody there must know that this is not going to work.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that it's a double-edged sword for them. I'm sure that that while they don't necessarily want more extremist activity, that to have extremist activity is to provide justification for, in their eyes, justification for a lot of these things, a lot of this detainment.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm actually saying that they might want extremists.
Yeah.
Because if somebody retaliates, they could always just point to them. We're like, see, this is why we need to do what we do.
Sure. Sure.
I mean, okay. So here's the thing. Here's another thing to point out. In Islam, if somebody forces you, if I don't know how these Chinese Muslims, how much they know their Islam, because most Muslims don't know shit about Islam, but in Islam, if you're actually forced to eat anything, there is no sin. Like, if you get forced to eat alcohol and if you get forced to eat pork, you're not committing sin. Any sin. The person that is forcing you is committing the sin. Right. So that you shouldn't, like, as a Muslim, you shouldn't have a problem. Like, I'm free forced, so I'm not sinning. But the thing is that the problem is that this whole demonization of eating pork, not necessarily with alcohol for some reason, but mostly pork, is been so ingrained in Muslim minds that they're not thinking about it in the step of sinning. They're just disgusted by pork. So it could end up being like so disgusted that I've seen like how it could be psychological torture. Even though technically they shouldn't have a problem with it, because it has turned into worrying about sin to worrying about doing something absolutely disgusting, like eating shit, right? So, but technically they shouldn't have a problem with it, but for some reason it has turned into something that they are disgusted of. Like, so, and again, this is the difference between what Islam actually teaches, but lived experience of Muslims is not necessarily the same as what Islam actually technically teaches, but it is very, like, it's not independent of it either. Like, it's very much influenced. Lived experience of Muslims is influenced by Islam, but not in such a one-on-one correlated as if they're just robots and the Islam is a code and they just follow the code.
And what's crazy is that there's been reports that China is actually sending government officials and representatives on behalf of China to these different Muslim families, and they're actually staying with them and living with them to observe them and to make sure that they follow all these that they don't follow any Islamic practices that are against the Chinese government.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a documentary. Christy in the live chat actually sent me a documentary. By the way, Christy, I haven't managed to watch the videos that you recently sent me, but they have they bring tourists there to just show how good and they have these areas specifically made to look better, and they bring tourists, and the tourists actually get to go inside the house of the Muslims and take pictures while they're just living their lives. It's pretty insane.
Wow.
Yeah, and again, this is not just about Muslims. I mean, they do this to Christians as well. And it's not just about religion. China is like a fucking tyranny, and they just want to control everything. Everything. Right.
It's not about atheism. It's not about eliminating religion. It's about controlling the religion.
It's about having full control over everyone's lives, right? Yeah. And so that's why it's struck. Okay, Jim, how likely do you think it is that if I scroll down, I see the top comments, is going to be one of our Atheist Republic members saying this is good?
I want to say it's a 78% probability.
78%. Okay. Let's see how bad it is. Let's scroll down and see. Let's see what the top comment says. Daniel, top comment with 613 reactions, saying, "I don't really like religion, but I don't see how this is funny." Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, actually, there's a mix. Here's the thing. Here's a good and bad about our community. The good thing about our Atheist Republic community is that the top comment was good. But the bad thing is that Daniel is actually pointing out to the fact that the #1 reaction to... wow, this thing got 1,300 comments and 5,000 reactions. But the problem is that the top reaction is people laughing. I don't know what they're laughing at, but it's not good. I mean, this is horrific. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a dark comedy kind of like I'm trying to be looking at it as positively as I can, but I don't know. I'm hoping that most of our community doesn't endorse this. The second comment is from this woman that I can't pronounce her name. She's saying, "I'm disgusted by how many of you are laugh and love reacting to this." Okay, but I'm gonna judge it by the comments. I'm hoping that just to be charitable, let's be charitable to people as much as we can. Again, it might be wrong. The love reactions could be like, "Thank you for sharing this," I guess, to us. Or the laugh reactions is like, "Wow, this is fucking ridiculous." Again, I'm trying to be as charitable as I possibly can. Ryan is saying, "I don't like the idea of being forced to do anything, especially by the government." Good. So it seems like the top comments are pretty good. Greg is saying, "Clearly we on this page aren't fans of religion." Yep. But forced participation looks the same no matter who does it. Exactly. We don't want to replace religion with something more evil. Oh, that was... And okay, Greg continues. "This won't make anyone deconvert. It will just harden their hearts and create people willing to become martyrs." Very good point. Actually, the top comments seem to be much better than the last time we posted about this. So I guess that's good, right? Jim?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. There were some comments by Christy that we didn't read. Muscal said, "I agree." And Christy saying, "They are making them extremists, and this is the best way to get people to rebel, by making them able to play the prosecution card." One argument against what we're saying is that it might be very difficult in China to actually become rebels. Like the amount of control and the amount of eyes China has, like this is going to be a very, like, even if they actually do end up making extremists, the level of control China has over its people, it might actually make it difficult for anybody to actually retaliate. So I don't know.
But
Yeah.
I do have to say that I do think that China is doing some good here, because I don't believe that anybody should live their life without eating bacon. Just
Come
once.
on, no, Jim.
It's
don't
so
say
damn
that.
good.
No,
it is so
Jim,
good.
don't joke about this. This is horrific.
But bacon is not. It's not a joking matter.
No, it is. Come on, Jim. That's not nice. That's not nice. I don't agree with you on this. Let me see. Yuval is saying atheist republic, not a justification, but the prevalence of atheism in China might have to do with decades of anti-theist brainwashing. Well, the thing is, Yuval, we don't make excuses for atheists that and you're saying it's not a justification. The thing is that what we would say, a lot of people say when we point to the harms caused by religion, they point to harms caused by atheists, and we point them out when if like China is a non-religious atheist regime, and when they're being intolerant, we will point it out. The thing is that just because religion doesn't have a monopoly over cruelty. It causes it. It's a major source of it, but it doesn't have a monopoly over it. So, I mean, atheism is just nothing but other than a lack of belief in God, and people are capable of committing cruelty without God. They definitely are. But what we say is religion helps increase nonsense, cruelty, discrimination in the world. It doesn't have complete ownership over it. It doesn't have complete monopoly over it. We do think it's a source of adding to it, and the world would be a better place without religion. It wouldn't be a utopia without religion, but it would be a better place without religion. We will point it out when people are being discriminated against, especially when it's relevant to us, because when they're being discriminated against because of their religion, we will point it out, even if it's coming from people that don't believe in God.
Right.
And Yuval also adds the question if this can root out religion. Paganism in Europe was effectively rooted out by... Okay, so Yuval is saying that there is an example of some form of persecution that actually did get rid of a certain religion, and saying that Christians effectively did got rid of paganism by church oppression. And he continues saying that's not a justification, but the prevalence... oh, you already said that. I already read that part. So you were saying it might be effective. Okay, yeah, but that's more... That might be one example, but we have
I think it would be counter-effective. I mean, if you have the case of Nero, Nero blamed the Christians for the burning of Rome. And so then, in turn, the Christians were persecuted to a very huge extent for a very long period of time.
Right.
And look what happened to Christianity. Christianity was justified in their martyrdom, and it helped influence many other people. Saying, well, if these people are willing to die for this cause, then that must be true.
I would also argue that paganism, like whatever groups of religion that covers in Europe back then, they haven't had mastered the art of victimizing themselves. I think Christianity and Islam, more than other religions, have managed to use victimization as a weapon and as an excuse. Yeah. I think pagans...
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think pagans at that time saw being oppressed as a sign of weakness, as a sign of not being right. But I think Christians and Muslims have managed to actually show that this is the reason why we do what we do, and actually turn that into a strength rather than weakness. So I think maybe the example with pagans might not apply to Christians and Muslims. Okay, anything? Muscal is saying bacon is gross, don't like it anymore. Okay. So I think Jim doesn't like you anymore, Muscal.
No, don't say that. I love Muscal.
Okay. All right. again, this is horrific. Fuck you, China, for doing this. Do you think I could go? I want to go to China. Do you think because we have been shitting on China for like how many episodes now? For all this shit, like, is it safe?
5 or 6 now.
5 or 6. Like, we have been really anti-China for this. I really want to go back to China. Is it safe to go to China but when you have such anti-Chinese positions?
You know, I was actually told by that guy who said that Atheist Republic was a hate group that I debated.
Right.
One of his arguments actually was he said, "Well, have you spoken out against the atrocities that China is doing to the Muslims?"
Oh,
I said, "Yes." Yeah. Yes, I am. He's like, "I don't believe you." Okay.
Yeah. Actually, Jim, somebody was claiming on their YouTube channel that Atheist Republic is a hate group. So Jim had a debate with him on this, and Jim I don't use this because I know people say destroyed them in the debate. But Jim, I think if there was ever a place to say that you did destroy those arguments, what should people search for to find that debate?
It's on Modern Day Debate on YouTube, and the title is Atheist Republic a hate group? And you'll see my photo on the thumbnail. Okay. And it was a murder. It was horrible. There's blood everywhere.
Okay, go on YouTube and search for "Is Atheist Republic a hate group?" and watch Jim's debate with that guy. Good job, Jim.
Atheists are under attack in many places. If they were Christians, their voices would be heard. If they were Jews, their voices would be heard. If they were Muslims, their voices would be heard. But they are atheists, and not many seem to be listening. Let's make it difficult for them to ignore us. We have built a global community, and now we are tearing down geographic, cultural, and language barriers so we can find each other and support each other. In the last decade, we have built the largest atheist community in the world. Now we're doing the same in other languages. With your help, we have started Atheist Republic in Persian and Arabic.
انضميت مؤخرا لأسرة Atheist Republic وحيصير عندي بودكاست باللغة العربية.
As we grow, we can dedicate more time, staff, and resources to start doing the same in Spanish, Portuguese, Malay, Bengali, Urdu, Hindi, and other languages. We are providing community, support, informative content, and amplifying the voices of those who need protection, especially in countries where people feel isolated simply for their lack of belief. We want to be there for them, and we are only getting started. Help us get there. Check in the description for ways you can support our projects.